Have you ever noticed how your mind returns to the same moment again and again late, at night, in silence, when you least expect it? A conversation you wish you had handled differently. A decision that still feels heavy. A memory that refuses to stay in the past. Asterisk, here's something gentle, yet powerful, to understand. Your mind is not replaying these moments to punish you. It is doing it to protect you. The brain is designed to keep you safe. When something hurts deeply, your mind studies it, revisits it, replays it, hoping that by understanding every detail, it can prevent that pain from happening again. What feels like overthinking is often your inner system searching for reassurance, searching for certainty, searching for safety. Regret isn't a sign of failure. It's a sign that you cared. Memory loops are not weaknesses. They are unfinished emotional conversations asking to be heard, not silenced. Your mind keeps knocking on the same door because it believes something there still matters. And when you realize this, something shifts. Instead of fighting your thoughts, you can meet them with compassion. Instead of asking, "What's wrong with me?" you can gently ask, "What is my mind trying to protect me from?" Healing begins the moment you stop judging your mind and start listening to it. Asterisk, the human mind replays past moments not because it wants to keep you stuck, but because it is wired for survival. When something emotionally painful happens, the brain marks it as important information. It stores not just what happened, but how it felt, what it cost you, and what could have gone wrong. Replaying the past is the mind's way of scanning for lessons, trying to reduce the chances of experiencing the same pain again. It is not cruelty. It is caution. Every time your thoughts return to a difficult memory, your brain is asking a quiet question. How do I keep you safe next time? Rechecks the details, the words, the timing, hoping to find clarity or control where there once was shock or vulnerability. This is why memories often resurface during moments of rest or silence. When the mind finally has space to process what it could not before, what feels like self-punishment is often a misunderstood form of care. The mind believes that if it can fully understand the pain, it can protect you from repeating it. Recognizing this intention changes how you relate to your thoughts. Instead of resisting them, you can acknowledge the protective instinct behind them. Safety begins not when the memory disappears, but when you reassure your mind that you are capable of handling whatever comes next. Asterisk. Regret and memory loops are often misunderstood as signs that something is wrong with you. But in reality, they are evidence of a mind trying to adapt. When an experience leaves an emotional mark, the brain keeps returning to it because it has not yet decided how to store it safely. Regret arises not from weakness, but from awareness. It forms when the mind compares what happened with what it believes might have kept you safer, more secure, or less hurt. These mental loops are not about reliving pain for its own sake. They are attempts to make sense of uncertainty. The brain searches for cause and effect, hoping that understanding the past will give it leverage over the future. This is why regret often carries a sense of urgency, as if the mind believes there is still something to fix. It is a survival response designed to prevent repetition of emotional danger. When regret lingers, it is usually because the emotional experience was never fully acknowledged or processed. The mind keeps returning, asking for resolution. Once you recognize this, regret shifts from being an enemy to being a message. It points toward values, boundaries, and unmet needs. Healing begins when you allow yourself to learn from regret, without living inside it, reassuring your mind that growth has already taken place and protection no longer requires repetition. Asterisk. The brain is constantly searching for patterns because patterns create a sense of order, and order creates safety. When life feels unpredictable or emotionally overwhelming, the mind tries to regain control by organizing experiences into meaning. This is why it revisits past events, replaying them from different angles, testing alternative outcomes, and examining small details that once seemed insignificant. It is attempting to turn uncertainty into understanding. Mental loops often appear when an experience did not make sense at the time it occurred. The brain dislikes open-ended stories, especially those tied to pain or loss, without a clear explanation. The mind remains alert, as if the threat is still present. By revisiting the memory, it tries to close the loop, to create a narrative that feels complete and predictable. Meaning, in this sense, becomes a form of emotional security. This search for patterns is not a flaw, but an intelligent response to vulnerability. However, when meaning is sought through self-blame or endless analysis, the process can become exhausting. True resolution does not come from finding a perfect explanation, but from accepting that some experiences were unsafe or unfair, regardless of what you did. When the mind understands that safety can exist without full certainty, it gradually loosens its grip, allowing peace to replace control. When the mind keeps returning to a painful memory, it is often because the emotional ending never felt complete or safe. In those moments, something inside you may have felt powerless, unheard, or unprotected. The brain revisits the past not to trap you there, but to imagine a different outcome. One where you had more control, clarity, or support. This is the mind's attempt to restore a sense of safety that was missing the first time. Rewriting the past in your thoughts is not denial. It is the nervous system searching for resolution. The brain plays out alternate versions, not because it believes the past can change, but because it is trying to teach itself how to respond differently if a similar situation arises again. It is rehearsing safety. It is preparing strength. These mental rehearsals often intensify after moments of growth or awareness. When you finally recognize what you deserved but did not receive, the mind lingers there, wanting to honor that unmet need. Healing begins when you stop forcing the memory to disappear and instead offer yourself what was missing then: understanding, compassion, and reassurance. When the mind feels that safety exists in the present, it no longer needs to revisit the past to search for it. Awareness is the point where struggle begins to soften. When you become conscious of why your mind repeats certain thoughts, those loops lose their power to feel personal or punishing. Instead of identifying with every memory or regret, you begin to observe them as signals. This shift creates space between you and the thought. And in that space, compassion can emerge. Mental loops persist when they are misunderstood. The mind believes repetition is necessary because it has not yet been acknowledged. Awareness tells the nervous system that the message has been received. When you recognize that your thoughts are rooted in protection rather than self-criticism, you stop fighting them. Resistance often fuels repetition, while understanding allows release. This does not mean the memories vanish instantly. It means they change tone. What once felt like accusation begins to feel like information. You start asking different questions. Not why am I like this, but what is this trying to teach me? That curiosity transforms self-punishment into self-guidance. Over time, awareness reassures the mind that you are no longer helpless. You have grown, learned, and adapted. Once the brain trusts that you can handle discomfort and uncertainty, it no longer needs to replay the past.